Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got the Bentley back in the unit and we've got a few maintenance things to crack on with. First of which is a battery change. So we've had the battery light come on the actual car itself and it's been struggling to start as well. So there's been a few occasions where we've had to use a key rather than push button start. And a little top tip, if your Bentley is struggling to start with the key, what you can do is turn it to the left hand side and then turn it to ignition on. That allows the ancillary battery kick in as well and gives you that extra bit of power to start the car. So this is going to be a bit different from the usual type of video that I do. I just thought with us having to change the battery on here, I'd kind of do a quick run through, show you where exactly the battery is located, and then also show you how it is replaced. So the battery we actually got was from Tayna.co.uk, which is a UK supplier that mainly do batteries, but they do also do other bits. I've used these quite a few times and the website's really well set up, makes it dead easy for you to find the correct battery for you, tells you where you need to take the dimensions, also tells you the all-important orientation of your terminals, so where your positive and your negative are. If you get the dimensions wrong, it doesn't sit correctly in the tray. And obviously, if you get the terminal locations wrong, your cables won't reach them either. So before buying any battery for any car, make sure you do check those and cross-reference it with your original battery. Now this is just for the main battery. There is a secondary battery on these cars as well. We're not replacing that one, it's just the main one on here. And that is on the left-hand side when you open the boot, behind this little cubby hole. Once you've got to that, you can just unclip the plastic cover that goes over the live terminals, and then you want to disconnect your negative. Always disconnect your negative first. And for both of these, it's a 10mm socket to loosen and then pull off. With your negative, always make sure you tuck it out of the way as well, so it's got no chance of touching the terminal again. Moving to the live cable, and you just want to loosen this off, and then you should be able to pull the full unit of live cables up and off the terminal of the battery. Once you have done that though, you will also have to disconnect one of the live incoming cables, which is on the top side, just to allow for you to fully pull that unit out of the way. Again, just make sure you do tuck this one out of the way. There is also a plug that you'll need to disconnect here, and that'll just again give you a little bit more access, so you can pull that whole unit out of place to allow you then to get to the bolt that clamps the battery into position. You want to then undo that. This is now with a 13mm socket. Once you've undone that, you'll be able to move the bar, which releases the battery from the tray. You're then ready to lift the battery out of the car itself, and it's not easy this. The battery is quite large and quite heavy, so to actually get it out from where it is, you have to kind of tilt the top of it towards you and then pull from the left side up and out. That's how it worked for me anyway, and eventually I managed to prise it out of there. So just to show you exactly what it was that you need to unbolt, it's this bar here, and essentially it's this bolt that holds that into position. So once that's unbolted, you can then lift the bar up and out position. That then releases the battery. When your new one goes back in, it's the reverse of that, so you want to push that back into position and then bolt it down. And for the terminals that you need to take out, the bolt and nut will be loose on this, so just bear that in mind and don't lose them. And then you've also got the plug that clips into the back of that as well, and again, just make sure you don't snag that when you are trying to pull it out if you've not disconnected it already. And for going back in, make sure your cables are well out of the way, so again, just tuck them into the side. Same with the negative, if that's not already tucked out the way. Make sure that bar's as far to the far side as possible, so you're not ending up having to try and fish underneath your battery once it's in place. And it was actually surprisingly easy, considering how hard it was to get the battery out, to put this back into the actual battery tray and into position. So a bit of fettling about, and then it will just seat once it drops down. Then with that in place, you just want the 13mm bolt. Put that back in, make sure you're not cross-threading it, so just do it hand tight initially, and then ratchet it up. Double check that the battery is secure, so give it a bit of a wiggle left to right once you have got that fully clamped in. And then it's back to reconnecting your cables to the terminals. So again, make sure you've got your plug plugged in, make sure you've got that far live cable terminated at the top, and then your full unit can go back onto the battery terminal. Tighten that up, and then put your black cover back on. You'll then move on to your negative cable, so that'll go on last. And as soon as that goes on, you'll see the interior boot light pop on. And just to get it fully seated onto that, you might just need to give it a quick tap with a hammer before tightening it back on, and that is job done. do actually get to driving the car, you'll turn it back on, you will get some lights on the dash, but after a couple of minutes of driving, they will clear. So don't worry too much about them. You do just need to drive the car a little bit. And as you can see here, mile or two down the road, everything was clear, everything was good to go. So thank you very much for watching, guys. And as always, if you could hit that like and subscribe if you've not already, you'd much appreciated. And I'll see you on the next one.